Good afternoon, everyone. It's Laura Tully here, the Movement and Motivation Mentor. I have been asked to join you here today on Roscommon Sports Partnership page, where I'm going to do a little presentation with you about how to mind your mind at this strange time. Roscommon Sports Partnership have a wonderful programme of activities focusing on physical activity, nutrition, strength, and now they've incorporated the importance of minding your mental health, which, as we all know, is essential to well-being. I am going to take you through a little presentation about 10 to 15 minutes long, so if you want to make a cup of tea, please join me. Give it your time and your ears for a little while, and I'm hoping that at the end of this you might have at least one little tip for well-being, one little change you might make, one simple swap that will benefit you and maybe those around you in these uncharted waters that we're dealing with. So just to say that I'm not a mental health professional. I am a nurse by profession, but I will be using an evidence base for all of the presentation I give you today, and all of the links and signposts that I give you are trusted and reliable sources, so you can rest assured that you're in the right place for reliable information at this time. So we start today by reminding ourselves of the importance of having a healthy mind. It's just as important as having a healthy body, and both of these systems are intrinsically linked. One can't function properly without the other working well, so we need to look after both of our systems, our mind and our body, as we strive to have better health at this time. So I think at the outset we need to remind ourselves about why we experience feelings of stress and anxiety, why we get an interruption in our mental well-being. And I suppose it comes back to a stress response. And this is a physiological process that happens in your body in reaction to something that's terrifying, either mentally or physically. So the response in your body triggers the release of hormones that prepare your body to either fight or flight, to either stay and deal with the threat or to run away. And when it comes to something like a hungry tiger in the jungle or a serial killer, these responses are really useful, but they can be a little bit unuseful to us in the face of something like coronavirus, which is prolonged and invisible, a new threat, and something which we all are experiencing a fear reaction to. So I think we need to develop a way of forging out a pathway to cope with this threat. So we need to find positive ways to deal with those feelings. We need to break the cycle of stress and stress reaction, and we need to maybe follow the top tips that I'm going to recommend to you today in order to feel safe and break that cycle. So I think it's time to talk about well-being and what it actually means. It's a word we use really often, but what does it actually define? I think it defines a feeling that you feel good about yourself, the world around you, and that you're functioning well in everyday life most of the time. I think well-being is also about your resilience, your ability to bounce back and cope well with the normal stresses of life. It's important too to remember what influences our well-being. So things like exercise, diet, sense of belonging, relationships, your career, your ability to self-care, your spirituality, money, where you live, and your sense of purpose. All of these factors influence your well-being, and in ordinary circumstances in normal life, these are challenging enough to keep under control and to maintain. But during a pandemic, we have very little control over all of these factors, which is why I think we need to put extra effort into maintaining our well-being at this difficult time. So I'm going to talk you through the ways to well-being. There are 5 easy and free ways to incorporate well-being into your life, and some of these you're probably already doing, but you might not realize it. So I'm going to put a little bit of structure around it for you today. These ways to well-being are evidence-based, and they're as a result of global research all over the world and have been proven to improve your mental health and well-being. The first way to well-being is to connect. So connect with people and with yourself and with nature. You can connect with other people around you, like your friends and relations and co-workers, using technology at this time. Use the telephone, send a text message, or even make a video call. Try to set aside a little bit of time every day to connect with somebody. I highly recommend the involvement in the Call Them for a Cuppa campaign, which was initiated by the Irish Men's Shed Association. And it asks you that the next time you're making a cup of tea, that you consider giving a telephone call to somebody at risk of social isolation at this time. It could make all the difference for both of you to have that engagement, and it's a really worthwhile initiative. I also think that you should try to connect with yourself daily. Get some alone time just for you. Maybe you can do it while you're out for your walk and connecting with nature. The benefits of the outdoors and fresh air can't be mentioned enough, and I think it's really important that you take time to notice your surroundings and enjoy looking at what's around us and listening to the sounds of nature at this time. It's a form of meditation in itself. The second way to well-being is to be active. We have no excuse with the great programme of activities that Roscommon Sports Partnership are providing to us daily. There's certainly something for every age and ability, so we really don't have any excuse but to be active. Daily movement is really beneficial for all kinds of reasons in terms of health, and try to move your body every hour you're awake. What exercise does is releases endorphins into our bodies. These chemicals are released and are known to improve our mood. So the more we move, the more boosted our mood will be. The third way to well-being is to take notice. You have to learn to notice your feelings. It's really easy for us to get stuck in a fearful way of thinking. We can even be fearful going shopping at the moment, and it's really easy to tend to catastrophize everything that's going to happen. If you start to notice these reactions though, and notice your feelings, you might have more ability to calm down those feelings and break the chain of stress reaction that can cascade sometimes into a sense of panic. It'll take time to practice noticing your feelings, but a really important, worthwhile activity, as it will start to help your brain find a new pathway. So when you notice you're triggered, it's important to just stop what you're doing, to take a break and focus on taking charge of your own physiology. Maybe you could try some breathing exercises. The most simple breathing exercise that I tend to recommend is called breathing from your belly. It's a great way also to exercise your lungs, which are really important at this time. Let's keep those at their fittest. So what you do is you make yourself as comfortable as you can. You need to relax your muscles to let go. You need to feel your feet on the ground, and you need to slowly start to take a very slow, deep breath in. You're going to fill your lungs with air for 4 seconds, and then you're going to slowly breathe out, releasing the air over 8 seconds. So this slow and deep breathing has been proven to reduce your anxiety, to reduce your level of stress, and to help you feel in control. Give it a try. You can also build on your breathing exercises by incorporating some relaxation exercises. Again, you're going to sit somewhere quiet, you're going to close your eyes, just relax and focus solely on your breathing. When things pop into your head, you're going to acknowledge them, but you're going to allow them to leave as easily as they came in. You're returning your focus all the time to your breathing. This is another practice that's going to take a bit of time. I would suggest that you use some online apps or some guided meditation or relaxation exercises to get you into the habit of doing this. And then just take time out every day to practice and perfect this activity. Don't forget the importance of laughing, crying, singing or dancing in breaking the cycle of stress reaction as well. Really important to find time for those in your day as well. So the fourth way to well-being is to keep learning. Learning something new will positively affect your mental well-being. Now for many of us it's something simple like a new recipe or a simple new skill, but for lots of people it means embarking on a new qualification or even learning a new language or instrument. Either way, I think you should try to set yourself a little COVID challenge of something new that you're going to master and learn during the COVID lockdown. One of the things I would highly recommend to anyone who would like to learn more about stress control is to undertake the free HSE online stress control class. You can find this on stresscontrol.org. It's an evidence-based program that will teach you the practical skills to deal with stress. And the final way to well-being is to give. This is a simple one because it can be as easy as just doing one good deed a day. Maybe you'll smile at a passerby, maybe you'll make someone a cup of tea. Another great way to give is to volunteer. It's a lovely way to get involved and it can be beneficial to others and certainly to you. Roscommon are looking for volunteers at the moment to help with the challenge of the coronavirus, so you can check out volunteerroscommon.ie and maybe do a good deed for someone else which will benefit your mental health. So now that we've looked at the 5 ways to well-being, it's time to incorporate my 3 top mood boosters. These are to eat healthily, to move more and to sleep well. When we talk about healthy eating, it's important to talk about it in the context of the pandemic. For most people, buying food, preparing meals and eating is very different during the corona crisis. Many of us are faced with financial difficulties and have less money to spend while the price of food has gone up in many of our shops. It's important to keep a routine around your meals and snack times. This will give you a bit of structure to your day and it will help you maintain a positive mental health. Have variety in your meals. Make sure you still buy and eat a range of foods and include colour in your diet. If we eat beige, we feel beige. Remember that your frozen and tinned foods can be just as healthy as fresh varieties. It's important to balance your energy to make sure that you feel fuller for longer and include a mix of carbohydrate, protein and fats in your food. Make sure you include high fibre foods. These will be cereals, fruit, vegetables, seeds and whole wheat. A simple swap is just to change from white to brown. Make sure that you stay hydrated. Ditch the fizzy drinks and reduce your alcohol intake. It's important for us to talk about alcohol in relation to mood. It's very common that people drink alcohol when they feel nervous and stressed to try and numb their anxiety, but the effect that alcohol has in this regard is very temporary. And when alcohol wears off, you can often feel worse, potentially a lot more stressed and anxious, and your brain isn't able to deal with it naturally. In relation to alcohol, please be aware of the effect it has on your mood, on your well-being and on general health, and try to stay within safe limits. Reports are indicating that alcohol sales in Ireland have risen by 40%, so we need to bear in mind the effect it has on our bodies and on our well-being. Remember that alcohol actually acts as an immunosuppressive, which is really important to consider at this time. So instead of boosting your immunity against viruses and infection, alcohol can act as something which suppresses it. Remember to separate your weekends from your weekdays in relation to all your habits, but particularly alcohol. I know we've already talked about the importance of being active for mental health, but I'm going to mention it again because daily exercise is one of my top tips for well-being. It'll improve your mood, reduce your stress and make you feel more relaxed. Remember that you can start gently and build it up gradually. Aim to reach for about 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. You can improve your motivation by following someone like me on social media, or even asking a friend to join you so that you can keep in touch about your daily challenge. At the moment, I'm running a 4K a day COVID challenge for my followers. We found it really motivating in terms of us getting out and about each day. We go 2 kilometres from our home and turn back, which makes 4K a day. We take a photo of our trip every day, an aspect of nature, an aspect of where you live, and we share it on social media. It's been a bit of fun, but it also means that we're boosted in mood and making sure we get our daily exercise. It's time now to talk about probably the most crucial aspect of health and well-being: sleep. Anxieties about coronavirus, lack of routine, and reduced physical activity can lead to sleep problems. Lack of sleep makes us feel tired, irritable, and a bit low during the day. We might find it harder to concentrate and manage our daily life. So it's really important that we focus on sleep and understand how we can improve our sleep. We should be all aiming for a goal of 7 hours sleep a night for health and well-being. So I hope at this point you're still with me and you haven't nodded off to sleep. I hope you're still engaged and enjoying the final part of the presentation. I'm now going to talk you through some top tips to improve your sleep. You should try and stick to a schedule of going to bed and getting up around the same time every day, even at weekends. It's normal that you might find your body clock to be slightly different to our normal working day and day-to-day life, but important that we try to recover this schedule of sleep. A regular bedtime routine can help you do this. So spend the last hour before bed doing something that calms and relaxes you, like reading. Avoid activities before bed that are going to make you anxious. Things like watching the news or an unsettling movie should be avoided. You should also avoid using electronics and screens before going to bed or when you wake at night. These produce a type of light that actually wakes your brain up and makes it very difficult to sleep. Now, if you are having problems sleeping at night, you should really avoid napping during the day, especially in the afternoon. The exercise that you'll be doing every day, moving your body throughout the day, will help you sleep. Try to create an environment that promotes sleep. Make sure your bedroom is dark, quiet, and tidy at night. Keep the temperature between 18 and 24 degrees to promote good sleep. Remove electronic gadgets and use an alarm clock in your room instead of a smartphone. If you want to sleep better, you should avoid alcohol, smoking, and heavy meals 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. These can disrupt your sleep. Smoking increases your risk for developing severe problems from COVID-19 and harms your general health, so visit quit.ie for support. It's important for me to include sources of help and information. For many people, life during the coronavirus crisis can be incredibly challenging and stressful. If you're feeling overwhelmed or are struggling, it's important and perfectly okay to seek help. In a mental health emergency, if you or someone you know is about to harm themselves or someone else, you should contact the emergency services on 999. If you need to talk to someone right now, the Samaritans are available. Remember that your GP is open and available and you can contact them. If you are being supported by a mental health team or have had been supported in the past, you can contact your service for support. Remember that there is a new mental health messaging support available 24/7, which provides anonymous support when you need it most. Remember that there are people and organisations who can help. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness, and there is no shame in seeking support, even if it makes you feel embarrassed or is not something that you would normally do. You won't be judged and you won't be wasting anybody's time. My final piece of advice is to mind your mindset. Try to see the positives in every day and train your mind to see the good in every situation. Remember to follow the national guidance to stay at home and stay the course. Remember to look for your health information from reliable sources such as hse.ie. Remember that the pandemic will pass. This too will pass. We will return to a more normal life again in time. Plan now for things that when the restrictions ease. In the meantime, try to enjoy the little things in life. Stay healthy, stay happy. Thank you for listening.